Let us begin. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Agrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshamarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Ramakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्धिकम् कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्धिकम् उत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज उत्तिष्ठ कमलाकान्ता त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु उत्तिष्ठ.
So we had seen yesterday this thing about a spiritual world, that how we had seen from the story of Chamila and Gajendra, that how the devotee of the Lord, he returns at the end of this life to the spiritual world. So there are so many stories like this even in our times. So I'll share 2-3 such stories in a minute each, and then we'll move ahead. You see in Maharashtra, there is a place called Pandharpur, and there's another place called Dehu village. So in these places, there was this great devotee around 200-300 years back, this great devotee called Tukaram Maharaj. And there are so many lok kathai about him, common village folk stories. And right in front of everyone, there are this spiritual Vimana came to take him back to the spiritual world. So many people witnessed that right in front of their eyes. Similarly, many of the ISKCON devotees have seen in 2005 the passing away of the great personality, the great devotee of the Lord. His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj, who was an Afro-American by birth, but he was a 100% devotee by heart, pure devotee. And he was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And the way he led his life, so his students were who? Like one of his students was Nelson Mandela, the famous Nelson Mandela of Africa, who actually liberated so many people from this dark culture of racism. So you find like this, there are so many stories, unlimited stories of devotees actually giving up their body to return back home, back to Godhead. And even in today's world, even in today's decades, even medical people get shocked when they see the symptoms, the clinical symptoms, which are supposed to be in a typical way at the time of death, but they are totally opposite for a devotee who's returning back home, back to the spiritual world. So uh, this was the these are the examples by which we can see that even the age-old principles given in the Gita are valid, are very much valid in today's times also. And what to say of returning to the spiritual world? One's life here in this material world also becomes very much like spiritual world when we become just like you want to go to America, so they take a test of TOEFL and other things like you should be able to speak English, at least something like that. This the way people speak there. Similarly, you want to go to some Himalayan place like with all the snow and everything around. Then at one point of time they stop your vehicle and they check whether you have those fur coats and all those things. Otherwise, you can't enter there. Jaisa des, vaisa bhis. Similarly, when we want to go to spiritual world, our heart has to be as pure as the residents of the spiritual world. So when we practice devotional service, bhakti yoga in this very planet, in our lives, so slowly in our hearts, they become so pure, our life becomes so pure, so much, uh, all the envy is like flushed out, heart is totally cleansed out. Then what happens, even before we reach the spiritual world, while we are in this world itself, we can experience that joy. We can experience that pure love for everyone, from God to every small living entity, right? While we are there in this life itself. So, and then such a devotee, he works for the welfare of everybody else. Such was our Srila Prabhupada, who took so much pains for for benefiting so many people in this world. So now the question comes when we go further ahead in this 8th chapter. So on what basis the soul is awarded in the next body? So we had seen the law of the last thought in last session. Yam yam vapi swaran bhavam tidatyante kalevaram tam tam vaidik kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavika. In 8.6 we had seen this. In 8.5 we had seen that if you remember Krishna at the time of death, you go back to the spiritual world, go back to Krishna. 8.7 we had seen Krishna's advice therefore tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmrit yuddhacha. So we had seen that how in our life also, it's just like Arjuna, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Therefore, at all times, everyone, what we should do? Mamanusmara yuddhacha. Remember Krishna and also simultaneously do our duties in this world. Okay. So, on what basis the soul awarded next body? We had discussed this already, but I'm just taking you through the slideshow. Yeah. So there are two factors. One is desires stored in our mind at the time of death, and second, the karma which is there in our account, the papa and punya. So we had discussed about this. We're not discussing again. So death can come in any way. Where one go after leaving, just have a look. Anytime death can come. So somebody is having heart attack in this, somebody is having accident, somebody, I don't know what, maybe but I don't know actually in the death may come. Yeah. This is like somebody is eating always meat and all, so then he becomes a carnivorous animal in his next life. and suddenly somebody is exposing his body too much, snake or scorpion will bite anyone. Lazy person becomes a polar bear. Lusty person becomes, some animal like that, like this. Because he's displaying that those kind of symptoms in the nature gives him that kind. So our activities and desire determine. So this story. We had also read about this, the mention about this in the purport of the 6th verse, that how there was this king called Maharaj Bharat. Maharaj Bharat was that king who ruled India so nicely. Therefore, India was later known Bharat, the tract of land where great King Bharata lived. So Maharaj Bharat, he was a great personality and he was practicing his life very nicely in the forest. Now what happened that he saved a deer, a small little deer, an infant deer, whose mother died because of a lion attack. And then he saved that deer, raised that deer, and he should have actually done some help to that deer, but also concentrated on his spiritual life, which he compromised simply watching the deer and becoming too much attached to that deer. Then what happened that when he died in that life, he was thinking of that deer only. So because he was thinking of that deer, but he had led a very saintly life, so he became a deer. He became a deer near the hermitage of great saints in the same forest. And then this deer, because he had this attitude of a devotee, attitude of a sage, was previously Bharat. So he realized that in the last life, unnecessarily he remembered the deer and he became a deer. So now, as a deer now, he very much focused on spiritual life. Very special deer. Generally, animals cannot practice spiritual life, but he was a special deer, and he was blessed by the Lord because of his very good devotional service in the previous life. But then he became attached to a deer. So he became a deer, but then he was a devotee deer. So then he used to attend the sages meetings and used to hear about the Lord. He used to the kirtans, of the Lord with them. Like this, the life went on. And then when he left his body as a deer, because he was thinking of the sage and the Lord, so he became a sage himself. And then as Jada Bharat, then in next life, he went back to spiritual world. But you see, Maharaj Bharat could have himself gone to the spiritual world in the very first life, but it took him 3 lives instead, 2 extra lives. Why? Because again, the law of the last thought. Because his activities and his desires uh, were more bring a deer than God. So we hear the knowledge, we understand it, but then we also have to apply it. Then only it will be possible for us to remember the Lord constantly. See, जीवन में कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ प्रयास करना पड़ता है. इसी तरह से in spiritual life, if we want advancement, then we have to enter a little. We have to make endeavors by which actually we change our thoughts and to some degree our lifestyle also. So if one is transcendently absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next life will be transcendental, not material. This we had seen. Therefore, the best way is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So these verses we saw already that we should practice Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena, Chetasa, Namena Namena. And yeah. So this is Yoga Mishra Bhakti, but I'm going to take the description of this because this doesn't help us anyways. I'll just tell you the gist of this. This is like many of the yogis who go to Himalayas and all. So this is a proper process. This process is correct, is authorized, but it's very tough. You see, there are this Shat Chakra yoga system. Shat Chakra means in our body, in our forehead, okay, near our throat here, then in our chest, and then near our what do you call this, Nabhi. And then below we have this 6 chakras. You must be able to see. So there are 7 chakras, but in one sense there are 6 chakras. Because this one chakra, Sahasra chakra, is very, very rare chakra to be able to control. So otherwise there is Agnya chakra, Vishuddhi chakra, Anahata chakra, Abhi chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, and Muladhara chakra. These 6 chakras. And the 7th one is Sahasra chakra. So if depending upon where a person, how much elevated a yogi is, Ashtanga yogi, he can leave body from different places. So the higher chakra where he leaves the body, the soul leaving the body. से आपका घर है, उसमें बहुत सारे डोर्स हैं, कौन से डोर से बाहर निकलते हैं उसके बेसिस पे आप पर्टिकुलर रोड पर, है ना, बाहर आएंगे. Like that. So in that it is given that if you leave your body, because the aim of the yogis is to give up their body, and to, when this death comes, so the soul should leave from the as higher chakras as possible. You know, maximum people of today's age, when they die, they generally leave from the lowest chakras, like from our Malamutra Dwar, like, you know, from where we pass stool and urine. Generally, people from there. So therefore, when they die, at the time of their death, they pass stool and urine. You can, if you check with the doctors also, that's what happens. Otherwise, also people, they are more concerned about filling up their belly and, you know, usurping money and all this. So they leave from their stomach or something. It is very rare in this world, in today's age, to find very clean-hearted people who leave from higher, you know, chakras. So, but a person who leaves from the Sahasra chakra, so actually he goes to heavenly planet, the highest of the heavenly planets, Brahmaloka. Right? But a devotee does not have to bother for all of this. See, a yogi has to bother for all these things, you know, Kundalini yoga. And then in that also, he has to bother about which time of the year he will leave. And then when the sun is in northern hemisphere, that time he should leave the body. I mean, there are so many factors. These are all mentioned in this chapter. But how to? It's so difficult, actually, very difficult. So, what is the easy process which everybody can do easily? That is this verse. Ananyacheta satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. So sulabha partha tasya aham sulabha partha. भाई मैं तो उन लोगों के लिए बहुत सुलभ रूप से उपलब्ध हूँ. Just like you have sulabh shauchalaya in India. Sulabh means like easily you can access. Anybody can access anytime easily. Similarly, Krishna is also very easily available. Very rare, but very easily. How? One just has to practice loving devotional service. You know, then one doesn't have to use his qualification to attain Krishna, to attain spiritual world, to attain yogic perfection. But Krishna gives himself. Like if we try to meet Modi, very difficult. Take appointments, use this thing, that thing, very difficult. Probably will never be able to. But if Modi, if we act in such a way that we are acting in the nation's interest and aligned with Modi, then Modi himself will want to meet us. Like few weeks back, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji sent a personal appreciation letter for our ISKCON temple here in Varanasi, for all the social service initiatives we had taken to help many people during the COVID times in the months between March to August. So we never expected actually a letter from him. But he wrote it actually. So he was informed by the government authority. And we were really amazed actually. We got one certificate by the DM, also the IAS officers here who are looking after the administration. So both of them came as a surprise to us. And then we were also included in one meeting with the 25 top NGOs who helped in the COVID times. there was a online meeting, Zoom meeting, Zoom or whatever the government app it was. So we were called at the youth government's this one place, convention center, and there 25 NGOs, their representatives were allowed to interact with Modi. So we were also allowed in that 90-minute meeting, and it was very good experience actually to hear from him, to interact with him. And so the idea which I was sharing is that when we try to meet a very big person and approach a great person, it's very difficult. But if we do something by which we please him, by which we serve him, assist him, then what happens? He can meet us, and that's very easy. He can do it like when he wants to do it, very easy. Similarly, this verse says, Tasam Sulabha Partha. Oh my dear devotee Arjuna, I'm very easy to attain. I'm very easily available for one who is Yomam Smarati Nityashaha. जो अनन्य चेता means undivided attention से one who is following Krishna's teachings, loving him, remembering him, serving him and serving those who are dear to him. That is how Krishna says in this verse. And therefore he says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gata. In this 15th verse he says, for such devotees of mine, there is no more birth. They'll not have to take next birth in this world. They'll directly be spiritual world. So now, having said this, Acha, you see this. Dhruv Maharaj is going back to the spiritual world along with his mother. Yeah. So this is the story given in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dhruv Maharaj, whose heart was filled with selfish material desires, but somehow or other he came in contact with Narada Muni, and then inspired by his mother's directions and the detailed instructions given by Sri Narada Muni, he practiced devotional service in the forest of Madhuvan. And as he practiced the devotional service, his life, his spiritual life, he perfected the spiritual life. And then later on, at the end of his life, he was taken like this back to the spiritual world in an airplane. And that time, just before boarding the airplane, he asked the Vishnu Dutas who were there that how can I go alone? It was my mother who had helped me. It was my mother who had directed me to Vishnu, and it was Narada Muni who had directed me. How can I mean? I would like to have my mother also getting liberated and getting benefited. Then they started smiling. They said, "Look ahead." So they gave him to look about the spiritual world, and his mother already sent there much before him. So this is the power of devotional service. Who practices devotion in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Narsimha says to Prahlad Maharaj that 21 generations of his family will go, which means in this life, everybody who's there who knows him, they'll be benefited. Not only his parents will be the first ones, but other people, including the friends and even the colleagues, will be benefited, to little degrees. And in his previous lives, the parents whom he must have had in whatever lives he had, and his forefathers in this life, they also will get benefited. So this is the power of one person going back to the spiritual world by practicing bhakti. And then Krishna says that if you do not go to the spiritual world, then in this world, it's very difficult. Brahma bhavanaloka punaravartino arjuna mamapetya tu kaunteya punarjana vidyate. He says, in this world, Brahma Bhuvanaloka, and the entirety of the 14 planets, because the Brahma Lok is the highest one, and the Bhuvara Lok is the lowest one. So he says in the entire place here in the material world, Punaravartino Arjuna, again and again the same thing, Ferris wheel. When I was very small boy, so on Sony TV, one game show used to come. So they used to rotate one wheel like this, and then the wheel would rotate, and then sun would come. I forgot what were the details. So Actually, this life is like that. Again and again, you keep rotating in the same material world, same birth, old age, disease, and death. It just doesn't make sense actually. But Krishna is saying, "Mam upekte tu kaunte." If you come back to me, punarjanmana vidyate. No more taking birth and death again and again. Now he is going to describe this. In the 16th verse, he says about his place, right? Now he's going to describe that place. So he begins with the highest abode in the material world first. Then he will go to the spiritual world. So I think if I have to show you how it is, this entire structure of the universe, where one goes and all. So should there is one, yeah. So there is, if you consider this as the material world, and this is the spiritual world. Okay, this is spiritual world, and this is material world. And this place in the middle, so this is called as Brahma Jyoti. Okay. So in the spiritual world, there are various planets where Lord is there in his avatars, different forms, and the devotee who goes to the spiritual world, so as per his relationship with the particular avatar, he goes there. They are all spiritual planets. In the material world, if we see, so there are millions and millions and billions of small universes. Okay, like this, like mustard seeds in a bag. So like this, there are many. I don't know what happened to this. Okay, I'm to understand how to operate this. So now, if we take like if this in this material world, if we go a little deeper, you know. So कैसे बंद करेंगे? So, anyone know how to clear this? Okay, clear. Clear. So now, if we go deeper, okay, in this material world, we take one universe. Now we are taking that one universe was there, one dot, like many universes in the material world. Now we are taking one of them and zooming in on. So this is one single universe in the material world. So there are many such millions and billions of such universes within the material world. We have taken one of the universes and zoomed on. Okay. In this, you will find 14 planetary systems. Sorry. So in this, you will find 14 planetary systems like this. These are the 14 planetary systems. stacked one above the other. So ours is like ours is the seventh one, and that is why it is called as Om Bhur Bhuva Swa, like that you do know. So on top, this is called Brahma Loka or Satya Loka, where Brahmaji resides. So these are the top ones. They are the heavenly planets, and they are the demigods, the devatas are residing. So this the whole thing is this entire material universe. It is a jail only, and these are the different qualities of cells in the jail. So this is the average, not average, but you can say this is Earth, where we are, our planetary system, and then our Earth is the small planet in this. So uh, in this there is a mixture of sukha and dukkha. And again, in Earth itself, there can be different levels, right? From the top to bottom, the ratios can differ. And in this bottom planetary systems, these are called Patal Loka, Naraka Loka, and all. And a lot of suffering is there. Actually. So this Earth planetary system is actually very much suitable, very much apt for practicing spiritual life. You're not too depressed, and you're not too much in material sense gratification that you don't feel the need of spiritual life. So if we do punya, we go up. Okay, if we do papa, we go down. So, and again, after the papa and punya, the effect gets over in the swarga or hell. Then again we come back to the earth. From wherever we were, we come back to the earth, like this. So this earth is the only exit and entry point in the universe. Like from this top, generally they don't enter or exit. From this below also they don't. So they will again come back to the earth, and from earth your entry and exit is there. It's like a building with 7 floors below, 7 floors above, but only from the ground floor you can do entry and exit. Okay, so therefore the janma on earth is very valuable. And if you are especially born as a human being on earth, then you have a very great opportunity to practice spiritual life and then exit this material world, this jail. But then as a human being, one has to become a spiritual, like spiritually pure, one has to again become. That is the entire idea. Okay, and when you become spiritually pure, so then one can go back to the spiritual world, love Krishna and go back to the spiritual world. So now what he is going to talk here is about Brahmaji, about Brahmaji's one day. Sahasra yuga paryantam aharyad brahmano vidu ratrim yuga sahasrantam eho ratra vidu jana. So he says, this is the calculation. He says Sahasra yuga paryantam. Sahasra yuga paryantam is 1000 yugas. So one yuga is a one yuga cycle. So he is talking about 1000 such yuga cycles. So like there are 4 ages in one yuga cycle. This is called as Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. Together there are 43,20,000 years. That is one yuga. And in one yuga there are 4 ages. So together there are 43,20,000 years. And individually these 4 ages, so they are in the ratio of 1:2:3:4. So if you calculate like this, you keep Kali Yuga as K, Dwapar Yuga as 2K, Treta Yuga as 3K, Satya Yuga as 4K, total 10K. 10K equals 43,20,000 years. So K equals 4,32,000 years. So then accordingly you calculation. Currently we are in Kali Yuga. Around 5,100 years have passed within Kali Yuga, around approximately. And so around 4,26,900 years are remaining ahead. That's where we are. And previously in this Yuga, Satya, before this Dwapar Yuga came and passed, before that Treta, before that Satya. And once Kali Yuga will pass away, so there will be a partial annihilation, and then the next Yuga cycle will begin. So if you see here, one Mahayuga or Divya Yuga or Yuga, whatever you call it, that is one cycle of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. That becomes 10K. So 1,000 such cycles. That is called Sahasra Yuga. That is 1 day of Brahma. That is 12 hours of Brahma. It's a relative time. And then again the night is also again 12 hours. That means again 1,000 Sahasra Yuga. 1,000 yugas, 1,000 yuga cycles. That is Sahasra Yuga. So Brahmaji lives, this is 1 day of Brahma, 2,000 into yugas, one yuga, one Divya Yuga, whatever you call it. So 2,000 into one Divya Yuga, Brahmaji's 24 hours. Then one Divya is 43,00,000 years. So you do the calculations. It will be around 86 lakh 40,000 years into 1,000. That is the time duration of Brahmaji's 1 day. 1 day means 24 hours. Again, you multiply it with 365, then that becomes 1 year of Brahma. Then you multiply that with 100, that will become 1 life of Brahma, which means Brahmaji's entire life. Okay. So don't get confused if the calculation is too much for you. But what I was sharing is, so that is one Brahma's life and is relative time. So in Brahmaji's 1 day, we have the division also called as Manvantaras. So one Manvantara is equal to 71 Yugas or Divya Yugas. And in each Manvantara, the assistant of Brahmaji changes. Like we have Swayambhu Manu, Vyavasvata Manu, like that. But anyway, I don't want to confuse you with this. We are not going to focus on this. But this is a rough calculation. So you can just have a look if you want. Finally, the main point is that one life of Brahma or 100 Brahma years, that is 311.04 trillion human years. Okay. Then here he describes about Brahmaji's night also and the same thing, the manifest and unmanifest states of the material world. Then he finally talks about the 20th verse and the 21st verse, where he begins talking about the spiritual world. So see, this material world is so insignificant, which he talked about till now. This entire material world, when Lord Mahavishnu breathes, inhales and exhales, that time material world is formed and destroyed. So 311.04 trillion human years, which we can't even fathom, becomes just a flash in the eternal time, just a flash. So how insignificant we are, how insignificant and temporary this material world is, because the time is actually relative. So Brahmaji, for him it's just 1 day, and here so many years pass. So now the question may come, if this entire material world in entirety is so temporary and meaningless, insignificant and filled with miseries, then how is the spiritual world? So then the description comes. This is the verse number 20. It's not displayed here, so let me put it up for you. परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति. So now Krishna talked about the material world, now he's talking about the spiritual world. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. All in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So Krishna is giving hope to Arjuna here that don't worry, this material world is temporary, insignificant, and miserable, but our real home is in the spiritual world, and that always remains. This material world is manifested and unmanifested, but the spiritual world is permanent. It is about love, nothing else. And then he says the next verse. Avyakto ityuktas tamahu pramaṅgatim yam prapya nivartante tam paramama. That which the Vedantas describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. Yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam. This is very important that Krishna is not doing a joke or doing a one. He's not doing a recurring business transaction. He's giving us opportunity to perfect our life, and once and for all, it's like 100 sonar ki ek lohar ki. It's like one stop solution. It's like master stroke, like that. Just give me a minute. I have to connect the charger. So now moving ahead. And now the question comes, how does one attain Krishna's abode, this spiritual world? So he says by pure bhakti. Purusha sa parapartha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. So you attain that by bhaktya labhyastvananya. आप भक्ति करिए अनन्य pure bhakti, you reach that. And then finally, the last part of chapter 8, verse number 23 to 28. So he talks about the different times of death. I had already talked to you about Uttarayan and Dakshayan, this sun in the northern hemispheres and the southern hemisphere, like this, and path of darkness. So the Gyanis and Yogis, so they go in the higher destination of Brahma. They may go up to Brahma Jyoti also. Remember that in middle the Brahma Jyoti. So from Brahma Jyoti also, in Brahma Jyoti also there is no misery. But the problem is that one cannot stay there permanent because there is no joy, there is no relationships, there is no meaningful loving interactions with anyone else. In the material world, there is impure life. In the Brahma Jyoti there is neutral life. And in the spiritual world there is pure life. So one has to develop love for Krishna and go to the spiritual. That is a permanent solution of everything. So yeah, so I think these are all unnecessary things because this is described here in these verses. But anyway, this is like better than all this. So much endeavor is so much of complicated understanding that we practice bhakti yoga and love Krishna and return back to spiritual. Yeah. So now these are the last two verses which are very important. The last ultimate and ultimate was the 8th chapter. So Arjuna may think, how will I take care of all of these factors, Krishna? Krishna says, you don't have to worry about all this. Why? What is the path of devotees? Naite shriti partha janan yogi muhyati kashchana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto Arjuna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yukto bhavarjuna. Oh Arjuna, you always live for me only. 24 hours you live for me. When you are going to bed, I do things. So today's day, Krishna, you gave me opportunity to do my duties in this world, as well as to remember you by chanting your names, as well as you protected me by leading a pure life. Now I have to give rest to this body in this night, so that tomorrow again this body is afresh for your devotional service, and for performing the duties which you have given, for chanting your holy names, for serving your devotees. So then he takes rest. So in that consciousness, when one takes rest in the night, that becomes bhakti. That becomes an activity of bhakti. When one gets up, again one offers a prayer to the Lord, that my dear Lord, please make this day another day when I get closer to you. When I'm able to take my baby steps closer to get closer to you. Oh my Lord, let this day again be a day of purity, not a day of impurity. Please protect me, in this today's battle with Maya, so that I do not succumb to the lower allurements coming from my mind and senses. That I stick to the teachings given by Acharyas and in Parampara and in the Shastras. That I can chant your holy name. I can respect all the living entities. Like this, when one offers prayers in the morning, and then he goes for the bath. So his consciousness is, I'm going to get this body cleansed so that it is pure to, at least it is pure enough to perform the duties and spiritual services, for the Lord. And in the daytime, he is taking care of his relationships, he's taking care of his family, his job, his business, or his academics. Again, this is given to me by the Lord. I have to do this for the Lord. So the purpose and the consciousness has to be very clear. Our identity has to be very clear. Our goal of life has to be very clear in the background. And we need to be in the mode of goodness, as we discussed yesterday, which means we lead a sinless life. And we follow the four regulative principles. We avoid the sins, and we practice chanting the name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. It becomes such a simple and natural. One doesn't have to bother about, अच्छा अभी ये करना है, अभी ये सोचना है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. कुछ समय है, अपने आप one becomes just becomes one's by default nature. And then whatever role he is playing in this society or in his family or in his job or whatever, he will become very good in that also. As we discussed yesterday, that the lack of the wrong traffic will help you go very fast ahead in the right direction. And in the final verse, he says, Vedeshu yadneshu tapasu chaiva daneshu yat punyaphala pradishtam. I'll display it. This is one of the favorite verses of devotees from the Gita. Vedeshu yadneshu tapasu chaiva daneshu yat punyaphalam pradishtam atyeti sarvam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upayeti chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas. Vedeshu yadneshu, performing austere sacrifices. Tapasu chaiva, daneshu, giving charity. Daneshu yadneshu, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode. So, वही 100 सोनार की एक लोहार. It's a master stroke thing. It's a master key, one stop solution for everything. जैसे आप ना अलग अलग शॉप की जगह एक बड़े मॉल में जाते हो तो आपका सब कुछ चीजें एक ही जगह मिल जाता है. One stop solution it is. So it is described by Srila Prabhupada that this verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, particularly as the chapters deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order. If the master neglects to call the student for food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. So actually he goes ahead and describes a lot of things. But this is the main thing. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. One should try to understand the 7th and 8th chapters of the Gita, not by scholarship or mental inspiration, but by hearing them in association with pure devotees. Chapters 6 through 12 are the essence of the Gita. If one is fortunate to understand the Gita, especially the middle 6 chapters in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. One should hear the Gita from the devotee because at the beginning of the 4th chapter, it is stated that the Gita can only be perfectly understood by devotees. Hearing the Gita from devotees, not from mental speculators, is called faith. Through the association of devotees, one is placed in devotional service, and by this service, Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, etc., become clear, and all misgivings are dispelled. Then one's doubts are removed, the study of the Gita becomes extremely pleasurable, and one develops a taste and feeling for Krishna consciousness. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna, and that is the beginning of the highest perfectional stage of life, which prepares the devotee's transferal to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavan, where the devotee enters into eternal happiness. Thus end the Bhakti purports to the 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme. So this was this beautiful chapter, and again going back to our slideshow. So devotees remain blissful like this. So I think we'll not do the revision of this chapter. We discussed enough on this chapter. Now it is 12:35, and I think we will start the 9th chapter next week, because now in 20-25 minutes we'll not be able to cover sufficient. So in case anybody wants to have any question or any discussion, we can do so today. We have good amount of time, or otherwise we will begin in the next week, next Saturday. Yes, so the floor is open. Anybody wants to comment or share any question, any discussion? Please tell something about Brahma Muhurat. Okay, so one devotee has requested in the chat box to tell about the Brahma Muhurat. Yeah. Brahma Muhurat is a time especially made, just like we have different places. Like if you see the Vedic way of markets, so there used to be a place for like sabji market, and then there is a place for shoe market, and like this. And similarly, in the times also, so the 24 hours are there. Isko bolte hain Asht Prahar. They are divided into 8 divisions of 3 hours. So in the Sanskrit, in the Shastras, they are called as Asht Prahara. Asht Prahara, which are the Praharas? They are 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, like this roughly. And then again the 4 more. So in these, the most important ones are known as between 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. In also, the most important is 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So it is not exactly 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. that we must say it like that, but actually it varies. It is basically 1.5 hours before the sunrise of that particular day, and then 1.5 hours after the sunrise. This period is specifically the first one, 1.5 hours before the sunrise up to the sunrise. That is called as Brahma Muhurat. So in my understanding, like right now in here in North India, if we talk about UP, then it is roughly between 4 to 6:15, 4 to even up to 7 actually. Or you can say 3:45 to 6:45, or roughly 4 to 7. That is the time period which is currently the Brahma Muhurat time. If you enter into the winters like January, so it may shift from 5 to 8. So in the month of May and June, it shifts to something like 3:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. So this Brahma Muhurat period is extremely beneficial. At this time, our mind is most peaceful. If we sit and concentrate on something, it can be at its best. Your absorption and understanding, can be the very best you can ever have. Another thing is that the demigods are the devtas like Shivji, Brahmaji, Indra, Chandravayu. They are roaming in the cosmos at that time, and they watch the person doing spiritual activities. So anybody performing spiritual activities in these times becomes specially blessed by them also. Once spiritual endeavors become multiplied when done in these times, and especially because the mind is very peaceful, the effect of the activities done is very clearly visible in our consciousness. So therefore, this Brahma Muhurat is very special, and one should actually get up in this Brahma Muhurat, ideally take bath, be clean, and then whatever little practice he is doing in the spiritual life should preferably do in this, and that is called as sadhana, one's morning sadhana. So I hope it answers Gagan Prabhu. You want to share something?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, you want to say something? You want to ask something further in this regard?
Oh, thank you, bro.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other devotee has any other comment or question? We'll wait for a minute. You can write in the chat box or you can ask directly. It's fine. Okay, so seems like we'll stop here for today. So thank you all very much. Himanshu, do you have any announcements or anything to share? Himanshu? Okay, maybe he is busy not hearing. Okay, thank you. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.